Welcome to another episode. Today, you will learn how to graph in slope-intercept form. That is the format where y is by itself. If these are the questions that you need help with graphing, I got you. These are really easy. Remember, you always start on your y-intercept, which is a point on the y-axis, and then all you got to do is follow the pattern of your slope. Enough of me talking, let's go. All these equations are written in slope-intercept form, or equations where y is by itself. So in slope-intercept form, the number next to the x is always your slope. That's going to be represented with the letter m. And the number by itself, the constant, is b. That's called your y-intercept. So when you are graphing, let's do the first one. The very first point that you want to start with is the y-intercept. Notice in the word, it has the letter y on it, meaning I got to focus on the y-axis. My y-intercept is on the y-axis. If it helps you to highlight the y-axis, that way you don't end up putting your first point on the x-axis, I suggest you do that in the beginning. And that number on the y-intercept is -4. That's where I'm going to put my first dot. In order for me to make a linear equation, I need at least 2 dots, and all I got to do is connect a line. And you get your other dot by following your slope. Some of your teachers always say like rise over run. That is the pattern of your slope. When you are rising, you're either going up or down, right? And when you are running, you're either going forwards or backwards. So you got to pay attention to the signs of positive and negative, and then you'll know which way to go. My rise over run number, my slope, is 3/2. So 3 means from my very first point, I'm going to go up 3 spaces. You don't count this as 1, 2, 3. It's the spaces in between. 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, and then 2 to the right because I'm running. 1, 2. That is where you're going to land your second point. If you want to make another point, you can continue the same slope, the same pattern. 1, 2, 3 spaces, 1, 2, and then mark your dot. And once you got a bunch of points, connect the dots. And that is it. That is it. Pretty easy. Let's try another one. Y equals -1x plus 2. I'm going to start on the y-intercept, and that says +2. It's not that one. It's the one on the y-axis. We're going to start at 2. Here's why math starts to get confusing. How do I get a rise over run number if that's not a fraction? Well, you can actually turn any number into a fraction. All you got to do is put it over 1. They mean the same thing. But now at least I got a rise number, which is -1, and a run number, 1. This says -1. So if something's negative, then you're not going up, you're going down because it's negative. Down 1 over 1. That's where my dot is. I can continue that pattern throughout the whole thing, down 1 over 1, and make several points if I wanted to. Connect the dots, and you got yourself your graph. Look at the last one. I tried to do 3 different examples. This one is missing my red number, right? It's missing my y-intercept. So if my y-intercept is not there, I mean, what is the number that represents nothing? 0. So that means if you ever see that, you just got to start in the origin, the 0, and then follow your slope. My slope says -1 over 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Bam. Super simple. Connect the dots, and that's it. You got these outliers here, special case scenario lines. You might as well go over them. They're really easy. If you see this and there's no slope, it just says y equals 3. You just have to go to the letter that it says and the number, y3. Put a dot right there. And whenever you see that, it is just a line that cuts through that number. It cuts through it like that. That's how you graph y equals 3. And if I want to double check my work to see if I did that right, I can just create any point on this line. For instance, I create those 2. That's 4, 3. This one's 5, 3. And as you notice, my y value is always going to be 3. So just to recap, find the letter, find the number. It's the line that cuts through that. Same thing when it's x. So this time I'm looking at x. I just got to find 4, put a dot there. And it's the line that cuts through that number, just like that. And if you want to check, make up a point that is 4, 4, Make up another point. That one is 4, 5. Any of those points have x as 4. Really easy to graph. For this last question, it is wrong. Someone did this and it's a common mistake. Put what you think in the chat. Don't forget, before you go, to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.